I saw you guys downstairs when I first came in, but you forgot your ID.
Yeah. I left it in my backpack, so. But they escorted us with the security, so we're good.
What do you do if you lose your ID and you have to fly?
I guess you don't fly then.
But there's a way for them to get you to do it. Like
Really?
Yeah, I think they can do something, but you have to go through like a test. I figured Twitter.
Oh, okay.
If you're verified,
well,
that
I
might
do
help.
have a picture of my passport on my phone, so
Does that
like
help?
maybe that might help. But I'm sure you probably like answer a whole bunch of questions that they creepily know about you.
X-Pac forgot his ID flying once, but then he also had weed on him, so he ended up getting arrested.
Oh.
so that was
a bad move.
Yeah, just a bad combination of things.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Not
were you tempted to take out your Twitter or your passport photo?
Well, I left my phone in the car too, so yeah.
Really?
I
Oh,
didn't
my
have
God.
anything on me.
Why? Did you not sleep? Are you typically forgetful, or did you just like?
No, I'm just like, I don't know. In New York City, I've been out of the big city for so long that like I don't, especially too like being so deep in the training camp, I like don't keep my phone on me. I don't keep like anything on me because like I don't know, I just feel like a lot lighter and stuff without those things.
Are you a compulsive texter if you have it? I'm bad.
I don't know. It's just there's just so much negativity that's involved with the phone, and just so much like draining energy. Like even like positive things, and you're just so into it, like you lose your focus on the present and what you're doing at the moment.
Do you find that the phone drains your energy?
Yeah, it does, but probably not for the same reasons. For me, it becomes a very unhealthy thing.
Jim
Yeah.
texts a lot, but it's not like the type of text that you would be able to share at a dinner table.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, probably. if I'm like if I just drank some tea or coffee or something, I'll just start texting a lot too. But
The caffeine, you mean?
yeah, for sure. But no, I just will be watching videos and stuff, so I need to stop doing
Oh,
that.
you get caught up in a phone watching the videos.
Yeah,
Does
yeah.
it fuck with your training or no?
I think so. Yeah. Because you always gotta be in the present moment. Like if you're somewhere else, you're not in your training. You're not like focused on just controlling your breathing, controlling your emotions and things like that.
So is it annoying for you to have to do interviews and stuff on fight week?
It can be,
Yeah.
but I don't think it should be. If something's like messing with you, if you allow something to rattle you or shake you, then you're not, strong at your core.
I got you. So
And you're fighting Michelle Waterson this Saturday, 8 o'clock on Fox UFC Fight Night. Where is this?
Kansas City.
Okay, so you're leaving today?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you get frozen yogurt? Because then, like we were just talking about, Jim gets frozen yogurt because he's obviously in very good shape.
I think I've had frozen yogurt like once before, but that's definitely not my thing.
It's not on your.
I like a good
Yeah.
frozen yogurt. They were basically calling me an aging homosexual because my male friend and I went out and took a delightful walk and had some frozen yogurt. But I enjoyed
Froyo.
it. Exactly. Thank you.
Froyo.
No, she did not make it very. Yes,
She lip wristed your froyo.
Yeah, she did.
Froyo.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that was not a very positive statement about froyo.
No, you and your older gentleman friend get some froyo.
That's what we call it's a
Well, I
gentleman
make
snack.
acai bowls, so I just started getting into that. So
Into what?
Acai bowls. I don't. Yeah.
What is that?
It's just like a.
He's so disgusted by it. He's like, what is that?
No, it's probably healthy.
It's just like a smoothie or whatever, but it's acai berry is like it comes from Brazil or something like that, and it's all those Brazilians are really into it.
It's a superfood.
I've
Yeah.
heard that's what I've heard, but is it healthy or is it like one of those myths? Like everybody says, like avocado is amazing for you. Now I hear it has lead in it, and I can't eat it anymore.
What?
Fuck it! Every time I try
I
to
don't know
help, I hurt
about that.
myself.
It's like eating paint chips.
What's that? Yeah, they said it was.
I think everything nowadays is a little bit contaminated. It's hard to really know what you're eating nowadays unless you grow it yourself.
Well, they found in a Walmart salad. They just found a bat.
Oh my
yeah.
god!
A dead bat in one of those
Bags of lettuce.
Bags
Did
of
you
lettuce
hear
was-
about Subway bread? I guess apparently they found out that like there's like pieces of yoga mat like in the bread.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
I don't know if that's true. That sounds so crazy.
That's
to
probably
me.
more appetizing than the bread normally is. I hate
Yeah,
Subway.
right.
So how do you figure out what to eat? Because I always think about that. Like,
Yeah.
anytime I even consider eating healthy, there's a new documentary about how that food's not healthy and that food's not healthy and that I just
Yeah.
ignore it all and just only eat processed foods.
Well, that's why I just started growing my own food. I just planted a whole bunch of strawberry plants. this past week, and I grow like all my herbs inside, and I'm just like I finally got my house, so I'm finally starting to get settled down and like starting to do these things. But eventually, yeah, I want to be totally self-sufficient. I don't want to be going to the grocery store. It's a lot of times it's crap. Like it's just hard to get around.
Where do you live?
Westminster, Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why middle of the country? Were you raised there, or you just like being there?
No, I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I all my life I knew the city. That's all I knew, and but I always longed for being out in nature and things like that ever since I was a little girl. And when they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up in kindergarten, I'd always say I wanted to be a farmer. And you know, one thing led to another. Like it just kind of happened that I moved out to Minnesota for training. I left Milwaukee, and then we met. And Minnesota wasn't too bad. I mean, the weather's obviously crap, but I really enjoyed training there under Greg Nelson. He's like an amazing, like he's an encyclopedia of like MMA. But Pat, my fiance, found a striking coach that he really clicked well with, and so we decided to move out to Colorado to go train with him. And I really fell in love with the place ever since. You know,
did.
just the outdoorsy culture and the people are really nice.
And the Pat you're talking about, for instance, Pat Barry is a heavyweight,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys have been dating for quite a while. You're engaged now. Is it difficult being around the person all the time? I'm always amazed with couples who are involved. Is it hard to be involved constantly?
I think there's definitely challenges. You know, just being in a relationship there's lots of emotions, obviously, but then on top of that, the coach and student and fighter relationship is one also there's two different challenges that come with those things. So we combine the coach and the student and then the relationship with each other. So it's really hard to keep it separate, but I think we make it work way better than most people could. I wouldn't recommend it for everybody, but somehow we definitely have some bumps and bruises along the way that we face, but he has a way of communicating things, not just to me, but just like in general. Like he has a really, I don't know, just the way he explains things. He speaks a certain language that I can understand.
So if you guys are fighting, if you're in an argument and all of a sudden you got to train, I can't, when I'm arguing with somebody, I don't want to be around them at all. I need time to cool off.
Right.
I'm just a dick. Like I can't be around the person and go, okay, let's put this aside now and do this other task.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it.
I don't know. I think we just learned how to, I don't know. We're very like-minded, so we don't come across. Well, I shouldn't say that. We do disagree a lot, but we don't get emotions involved for some reason. There's times where he's a lot of times he's just trying to convince me of certain things that just to be confident in myself. It's not so much of like disagreements on core values. What's important to us, we mostly agree upon. But in terms of like training and stuff like that, that's where I have to like kind of sit back and like kind of trust him, and know that he knows what he's talking about. But there are times where he also respects my opinion too, and he listens to me, and so we kind of just meet somewhere in the middle. And it's definitely not an easy process, but sometimes like I'm the type of person that if we're having an argument and it gets too escalated, like if we start yelling and stuff like that, then I have to just totally drop it. Like we have to just come back to this later. But you just kind of have to be able to keep it at a talking level. You can't let it escalate.
A friend of ours, Bill, talked about not name calling in arguments. And I didn't realize how unhealthy that was. Like every relationship I've ever been in, all we did was call each other names. And I'm like, that's bad news. Like, do you not do that?
Yeah.
I didn't know how fucked up I was until he said it. I'm like, because he's a psychopath. And he's like, nah, dude, it's toxic. I'm like, ugh, what am I doing?
Yeah. I mean, if you're joking, but.
Oh, no, we're in arguments. I'm not even.
Yeah, no, you're serious, huh?
Hurtful names?
Yeah. Calling each other impotent. It's really awful.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Is that what you'd get hit with a lot?
No. I'm just saying.
Like, what are the names that you would get hit with?
Just I'm too generous. I'm too giving. It's frustrating.
Yeah, totally.
What are you not confident in? You said he fights about confidence. What are you not confident in?
Sometimes I just always feel like I got to do more, and I think that's just a natural thing that all fighters have, like, oh, I just got to do, that's not enough, like I already done knocked out this person, but I got to do it. I got to get something else I got to do. You're just always looking at that next accomplishment, and I never stop, and so he's really kind of just helped me balance my go-getter attitude, my can't stop, won't stop kind of attitude. I got to bring it back sometimes. I got to take a sit down and just like relax.
When did you get involved with fighting? Like, when did you get into it? I'm assuming as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, my older brother and I would fight all the time, or just like my friends in the neighborhood. We always just fight for fun or like to defend ourselves. So that was just kind of one aspect that I got involved. But I also was put into martial arts as a really young girl, into Taekwondo. And then I got my black belt, and then I decided to move over to karate. And then from the karate school is where I learned about jiu-jitsu, stick fighting, and some kickboxing as well. And then I found Duke Rufus in Milwaukee, and they had everything there. So that was just kind of where I started my whole mentality of just like trying everything. And I kind of get bored with things pretty quickly, so MMA is really good for me because, and I clicked well with it in the beginning because I always have something to focus on, once I'm bored with this one thing, I could focus on something else.
And then, like, at what point, what did people think at first when they knew that this was what you were going to do with your life? Because it wasn't up until a couple years ago that women's MMA was a kind of a thing that was sort of, I mean, it was around, but it wasn't what it is today, you know what I mean?
It wasn't super lucrative or anything.
Right, exactly.
I think I don't think my mom ever really knew what I was gonna do when I was gonna grow up. I think I was just always like, she knew I was gonna be busy, whether that be music or sports or anything like that, or just something with school. But I don't know. I think once I made the move to Minneapolis, Minnesota, that's when it kind of was apparent that, like, okay, she's going for it. Like, this is no joke. And then also I think when I met Pat initially, because he was in the UFC at the time, and he made it a living, even though it wasn't for women at the time. There was definitely a opportunity. Like, even MMA itself was in the beginning stages, and it was still just beginning. So there was no... It's not like just because the opportunity wasn't right there in front of me doesn't mean that it couldn't be created. And I believed in it. And not only that, but I just really enjoyed it as well.
You play music?
Yeah, I play the piano. I play jazz and classical.
Are you good?
I think so. I mean, I wouldn't say like right now I'm a little rusty, but I could probably play like a little jazz tune or something. But classical is what I started in. I have really good classical bass. But reading music, I started...
Can you read it? You could actually read?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what I started in. And then when I went to high school, the arts in Milwaukee, and we did like 2 hours of music every day, or just whatever your art major is, if you were, art or dance or whatever. But I chose music. And then, I don't know, once it became like a thing for me, like 2 hours a day, like this serious thing, then I didn't want to do it. Like, it was just too much.
It wasn't fun.
Yeah. And I just enjoyed, punching people more.
Yeah, that probably is more satisfying than tinklinking on the ivories. It's probably more fun to fucking just take a draw with your fist.
For sure.
The last time I talked to you, it was you discussed possibly moving and building houses or something. You guys were talking about doing something.
Yeah. Not moving, but I got into this. I've been following this group called Earthships Biotexture for a long time, and what they do is they use recyclable materials like tires and aluminum cans and just things that we consider to be garbage, and they use it to build a house with in third world countries and stuff like that. They try to do it here, but it's just they have a community in Taos, New Mexico, but it took so many years to get past all the like building codes and things like that, and they have like lawsuits and stuff, so they just go to third world countries where people need it.
People are suing them for why? For building houses for the homeless?
Yeah, exactly. Well, to try and live that way, like here, because just building codes are meant to keep us safe and things like that. So they don't know these experimentational houses, like if it could be safe or not. But now it's proven that, it's experimentational, so you kind of have to be okay with, it's not gonna. We have to try and build these houses first before we know like how to make it safe. So
Well, it's like medicine. When you're in a testing group, you kind of sign off to the fact that might be a problem.
Right. So now they were able to do this, and they fought against it for a long time, but they made a community. But now it just makes more sense to go to places where they need it more urgently, And so in Indonesia, it's one of the most polluted countries in the world, and they decided to they're trying to make these eco regions where they have tourism, but it's in a more sustainable way. So it's not just killing all the coral reef and everything like that. And it's such a beautiful place. I mean, it's kind of sad when you just walk down the street and there's just like a river of just plastic and people burning plastic just to, just try and get rid of it somehow. So yeah, I went there. I got an opportunity finally and a time to like dedicate a whole month to going there and learning how to build them. And it was a really cool
you
experience.
did it already?
Yeah,
See, you're not going to do. Okay, for some reason I'm thinking you're leaving fighting and you're going to do this for years.
No, that was back in November, and I got back in December.
Oh, you just went for a month. Okay.
Yeah, and we built an entire house, and we I don't know. It was definitely it was a lot of adventure, and I don't know. I was worried for my life a little bit.
I was going to ask you if you were scared there. Indonesia seems like it can be a pretty radical place. Certain parts of it.
Everybody's like super nice there, but Pat cut his finger as soon as we got to the island. So just the whole travel there is just insane. I mean, there was like 4 flights. One of them was like 15 hours. Then like a car ride, then a ferry ride, which it turns out that ferry rides a lot of times tip over. Like I didn't even realize that till coming back. I know. and then another boat ride from the ferry rides to the little island. And so like you're away from just any medical assistance, other than just like a random EMT on the island that was staying with us. But Pat cut his finger like the first few hours of getting on the island, and then the next week he cut his other finger and needed stitches. And then
Pat's
the following
clumsy.
week, I know. And then it just like gave me a whole nightmare. Like he's just
And you worried about infection.
But it gave me something
Yeah.
to focus on. And then the third week he fell off of a scooter. So then the fourth week we just I had to tell him, sit down, don't move. And
You really got to want to build garbage houses to do this.
I
because
know.
It seems like such an
That's the last place I'd want to
undertaking.
cut my finger is in an Indonesian island where there's no medical attention.
Yeah.
It's a great way to fucking lose your finger.
Well, it definitely takes a unique type of person to want to get into a fist fight too. So it's just I don't know.
guess that's true. I would probably never do that either.
Yeah, never
So-
voluntarily. If I was going somewhere to get punched in the face, I'd probably find a way to divert.
Right.
And go somewhere
like
else.
I said, I get bored with things, so I need to. I always I have the adventure itch all the time.
So was there any point when you were there, you're like, why am I here? Like was there any moment where you're
Yes.
like, this sucks. The bed's where I'm sleepy is not comfortable. My reception is shitty.
Yeah, a lot.
Bed is made of shoe boxes.
I mean, the
Doesn't make any
first week
sense.
I was having a good flow. Pat was having a lot of trouble with all the heat and stuff. I think he lost like 20 pounds. So the first week it was just.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, he was definitely having trouble. He was.
He kept cutting his fingers.
Yeah, I know. He's bleeding
I
to death.
know.
Bring gloves, stupid. Like, what are you doing?
Well, yeah, and.
Sam said stupid. I didn't.
No. I meant bring gloves, and I looked at Jim and called him
Okay,
stupid.
fair enough.
Yeah.
He gonna be listening to this, No, but yeah. There is definitely a lot of times where I was just like, what am I doing here? This is so dumb. But once I finally saw the finished product, I was really just satisfied with what we were doing. And I feel like there was so much adjustment needing to be made, just like having in order to get water, we had to walk one side to the island to the other to get water from a little pump thing or whatever, or you could just buy a bottle of water. So to me, it just made more sense to buy a bottle of water because I was lazy. But then all of a sudden, it's like I'm just producing all this plastic, and I'm like, dang, it's just kind of like my
Build a living room with it.
Yeah, I know, but it kind of defeats the purpose of what we're doing, just little things like that. It made me conscious of dang, just learning how to survive, let alone building a house at the same time. That was a really tough challenge, just to live in a tent for a whole month, and then we had to
A tent you were in?
Yeah, we were living.
I'm in and out in a day.
You wouldn't like that?
No.
Yeah.
No.
You wouldn't spend 3 weeks in a
Under
tent?
no circumstances.
Oh.
But here's the thing with you said about the water bottle, and you are right about the plastic, but if you think of it this way, if you're drinking plastic, it's bottled, so you're not going to get any of the local water, which could be a stomach issue.
That's true.
And then you're not very
There was
effective.
What's
nothing
more
I could do
important?
about the stomach issue. That was definitely just the food. The food was terrible too.
What'd you eat?
Well, by the end of the trip, I was just eating a lot of ramen noodle packets just because, like, it was just so bad. They would bring food from like the mainland to the island, and it's like a 30-minute boat ride to get to the island. So like, there's like little shops and stuff where you could get snacks, and sometimes they'd have like cooked fresh food. Like, one of the cooks was really nice, and he cooked really good food. But other than that, like the food that they brought every day was pretty bad.
Did it feel like it was going to make you sick or put you on the toilet? Or?
Did it give you guys bathroom difficulties?
Yeah, I had a lot of bathroom difficulties.
Oh no, back to back on a spackle bucket. No, I hear
but it was a lot of like, it was a lot of rice and like chicken and stuff like that. But sometimes they would, like, nothing was wasted, so sometimes it wouldn't be super fresh, and you'd have like flies and stuff. Or there was one time the chicken came back, it was like maggots on it, but.
Oh.
Yeah.
You didn't eat it, right?
No, heck no.
You just scrape them off.
Jonathan, my manager, he's gone to like Africa and like a lot of countries where they sell meat outdoors, and I've seen footage
Yeah, there's
of
just plates and stuff, and then they're just flies.
Yeah, they're landing on the food, and people are okay with this. I'm like, how about
going
some
to the
saran
garbage
wrap?
and coming back. Yeah.
We just talked to a WWE guy, The Big Show, who said he had bathroom difficulties during a match one time.
Oh, that's right.
Have you ever shit yourself in an octagon? Never.
No.
He's asking me. Yes. I have.
No.
But that happens sometimes. There was famous footage of that.
That's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
I don't know who it's worse for, the person it happens to or the person they're fighting.
Yeah, I know, right? That's so gross. I will say though, one time when I was running track and cross country back in high school, one time I was running a race and I couldn't hold my bathroom. I peed, but I was just like, and then I had to go, and I had another race like later in that day, so I had my mom take me home and then come back.
Oh, you messed up.
Yeah.
Before
it's just a little bit, but it's still like, oh, this is too much.
Yeah,
get away with.
You have to go. They are telling us we only had you for a few minutes. It's Rose Namajunas on Twitter, Namajunas, and you're fighting Michelle Waterson this Saturday, 8 o'clock on Fox. And just one, I guess, more fight question is the champion, Joanna and Jedrzejczyk, said that you met her and you were really nice, and then you said you wanted to fight her. She's like, I think she has a problem with her head, she said about you. So what is that about?
I don't know. I think that it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, everybody wants to fight her, right? She's the champ.
Yeah.
So you think she took it personally that you wanted to fight her?
I don't know. I think she's just thinking about the wrong things. I think she's thinking about me too much.
I like that. When did you shave your head, by the way? When did you buzz your hair off?
That was before I fought Paige.
Wait, and was that just because you wanted to go in and be a warrior? Like, this is just the thing you wanted to put out there?
Or is it in the way when you fight?
It definitely is in the way, not only like actually physically, like each round taking a break and like, hold on, let me fix my hair. But also psychologically, I never really knew what to do with my hair. I was always like a tomboy growing up. I just put it up, and so it's like it just kind of was just there. And it's just I don't really see the purpose in it.
Well, you have a good shaped head too. It would be shitty if you shaved your head and it was just lumpy. And
I know. I was kind of worried because I had this like little flat spot right here. So like,
I have a dent in the middle. We have a similar hairdo, and some would call it a hair don't. And there's a little dent in the middle of my of my head. So you have a great head, which is an odd compliment to give a person. But your head looks fine.
Thank you.
It works for you.
Symmetrical.